Borderlines fear abandonment. It's a chronic fear. It never really goes away. And this condition stems from them not getting their emotional needs met as children. Most likely, they would have been abandoned, or they would have at least felt abandoned by those who should have cared for them most when they were young. And for that reason, because that's a feeling that they knew all too well, too early in life, borderlines end up abandoning themselves. They keep that feeling alive within themselves, and they really never really shut that feeling off. And what they really want, they don't want to drown in some of these heavy feelings that just hold them down. So, what they often want is a good distraction. They want to live their life through another person. And that's where their favorite person comes in. Because when they have that person they can look up to, they can attach themselves to, they can attach their thinking to, it's just the distraction they need to feel better about themselves, to uplift them out of this depressive place where they often find themselves. So they associate with that which they conceive to be greatness, perfection. It soothes them, it calms them. It's like merely associating with their favorite person gives them a sense of purpose. And having their favorite person in their life, it gives their life so much more meaning. But a lot of that isn't real. Probably most of it is not real. It's in the borderline's head, it's in their mind. Because they need someone to daydream about, to fantasize about, to idealize. Because as they keep thinking about those things, as they keep those feelings alive, they just revel in the good feelings that come from that. And they feel great because it helps release all of these good feel chemicals in the borderline. And that's why they so easily get this type of addiction towards their favorite person. They get this type of addiction towards idealizing someone. And then they get lost in this fantasy, which they don't really know how to come out of. And if they ever do come out of the fantasy, they immediately feel depressed. They immediately feel down. So they either want to start idealizing the person again, or they want to find somebody else who can take that person's place. But what does that mean for the favorite person? Well, whether the favorite person realizes it or not, they have almost full control over the borderline. As long as they remain the favorite person of the borderline, that is. And that's why these relationships are so powerful when the borderline idealizes someone so heavily. Because it can be very intense. The other person might feel flattered at the beginning. But then when there's any indication that the favorite person will abandon the borderline, whether it's a real indication or a perceived indication, because borderlines, they're really good at finding skeletons where there are none. They're really good at manufacturing scenarios in their head that are just not true, that aren't based in any well-founded reality. They just come up with these scenarios that people, will end up believing them. But anytime the borderline gets that feeling that this person might leave them, anytime the borderline thinks they're getting a hint, it really shakes the foundation of their life. It's like the favorite person can make or break the borderline. It's an all or nothing relationship. When things are good, they're blissfully good. And when things are bad, things are really crashing down, breaking apart. But Even when things are going good, the borderline sabotages it. But how do they sabotage relationships? Well, they keep testing the person. They keep stretching the relationship to its limits. It just becomes unbearable. They create issues. They push the person to the point where the person's going to do or say something that the borderline interprets as a step towards them abandoning the borderline. And it's through that incessant testing, through that pushing relationships to their limits, that all relationships with the borderline eventually break. They fail. And that's why borderlines always fall back into that broken, abandoned place. Thanks for watching.